There are exactly 5 levels of an unstoppable offense here in College Football 26, and I guarantee you most of you are still stuck at level 1 or level 2 without knowing it. Luckily for you, in this video I'm taking you through all 5 levels, from the absolute basics of passing all the way to mastering the best money plays in the game so your opponent never knows what's coming next. If you master all 5 levels, your offense is going to be unstoppable and you're going to be scoring every drive. So if that sounds appealing to you, don't skip out on any of the levels and let's jump right into it. The foundation of this pyramid scheme is actually using the best offensive settings. Let me show you the best ones to use right now. Alright, so we come into our coaching adjustments and we have auto-based protection. You want to make sure that you're using this on empty protection against these custom stunt blitzes, because if we come into really any formation, we're going to have them in nickel single mug. As we know, base protection, very effective, but against these custom stunts, not so much, because I'm going to put us on base protection right here, and what you're just going to see is one of these ends is just going to be able to loop through and get the quarterback on the ground very quickly. Now that time they kind of just suck, but it is Oregon State here. But as we know, I mean, these custom stunts have been good all year, right? So we put it back on base protection and we get the attention of the center, and there it is, where that guy just comes in free right through that gap and is able to push his way into the quarterback very quickly. So I know a lot of you guys are struggling versus that, and that's where empty protection becomes the most valuable, because you can see we're not even going to block our running back here, but what you're going to notice is these guards are going to do a whole lot better job of actually meeting the ends where they're coming through, right? And so if we look at the replay, and I kind of, elaborate on what I'm talking about here, we have this man right here where the guard is waiting for him, right? Instead of on the last few plays, the center kind of had to block him. Well, now the guard's waiting for him. Same thing on the other side. Guards are waiting for this guy, and now the stunt is picked up a whole lot easier, right? Versus, like I showed you, against base protection, you have faster, better ends maybe than Oregon State does. I mean, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you, honestly, to get that really quick pressure. But also understand that, you can block your running back. You can block your running back, still use empty protection if you're still getting hollered at versus these. But like I showed you, for the most part, that's a shed right there. So that can still happen. That's why it's still important to go through your progression of getting guys open. But just as far as the blocking the blitz up front, empty protection is going to do a great job of that. Also know that you can create basically a rollout scheme, with this, against this stunt, where you just take the snap and immediately there's no contain on that right side, and now if you catch them in cover 2, maybe you have a wide open pass down the sideline. But again, bottom line, if you're not playing against custom stunts, so if we reset the stunt, this is just a regular pass rush. If you notice that's the case very often, all you need to do is use base protection. That's really when it's the most effective. But really when they start stunting you is when you need to actually switch to empty protection so that you're not taking those huge sacks. But let me show you another very important offensive setting, and that's going to be your free form passing, or your passing mechanic, passing type. Make sure this is on placement and accuracy. All right, what this is going to do is it's going to help you, give you more control over where your passes are going, and then you want to make sure that you have your reticle speed in between 5 and 20. I have mine on 8. So really what this does is, if we take this snap right here, we're just trying to get this ball out in front of that receiver. You see how we're able to get it out in front of him? That allows him to catch it in stride. And yes, it is still very important, even though that guy is wide open, so that would be a completion every time. I don't want my receiver to have to turn around and lose his momentum. It just makes passing a whole lot harder when you get these horrible rack animations. Like we see right, that's a great example of a horrible rack animation. Guy has to completely turn his body, which slows him down tremendously. So it's like, if you're able to freeform the ball out in front of your receivers by holding left trigger, you have to hold left trigger to activate freeform. So probably what you guys might be doing right now is just pressing the button, and if you just press the button, that can work in some situations, but it just gives you less control overall versus like right there where you're able to kind of get that ball out in front of that guy because I'm holding left trigger, freeforming, allowing him to catch it in stride. It becomes even more important in man coverage though, because obviously on those last few plays the guy's wide open, so it's really not the end of the world if the pass is truly behind him. It's just going to slow you down. But against man man coverage, it's like, okay, if I try to throw this right here, no freeform, you just see how that's a knockout. All I did was press RB, the defender's able to just go make a play on that ball. Versus if I were to, just freeform it this time. So boom, we see it. Now we have more separation. I get it out in front of him. And that's also another thing about freeform. That's why it's important to play with your reticle speed, because if you have it too high, then you kind of lose control, like right there where I overthrow that receiver simply because, I just freeformed it too far. So we're going to see it again right here where that pass isn't open. So it's like, if that's the case, freeform can't save you. So obviously you're still trying to throw to open receivers, but again, against man coverage, especially tight man coverage, like you want that ball out in front of that guy, man coverage. Now we're able to turn that into a huge gain and a touchdown simply because that ball's out in front of that guy, because I'm holding left trigger to freeform. So bottom line, auto base protection, having it on empty against custom stunts, base against standard rushes, and then making sure that you're actually using freeform passing when you need to get that ball out in front of the receiver and prevent defenders from undercutting passes. Alright, that first level was very important, but if you truly want to be an elite passer here in CFP 26, you need to master having good pocket presence. Let me show you what I mean by that. Alright, so pocket presence is one of those things that it doesn't matter the play, doesn't matter the formation, doesn't matter the playbook. You need to maintain good pocket presence every time you're dropping back to pass, because if I call a play like this, I'm going to have my post route open, but I'm drifting so far back in the pocket, and now when I try to let that pass go down the field, the defender's just right there to make a play. That happens to too many of you guys because you're just drifting way too far back, or this is what you're doing, where you're just drifting to one side, and that just allows that defensive lineman who literally got dominated in his pass rush rep, you just allow him to get a sack simply because he can just run up the field and tackle you. He doesn't even really have to win his block. So you don't want to drift too far back. You don't want to step too far in one direction like I do right here. You see how I literally just run into that guy? He didn't even win his rep. So too many of you guys are doing that. Instead, what you need to do is just take the snap, flick the left stick up to cancel your drop back, and now you see how either you can throw a pass down the field or you can just take off with your quarterback if the lane's open. Now, the lane certainly won't be open every time to take off, but like there will be probably a lane to hit a pass down the field where it's like, okay, that pass is open down the field, I end up getting shedded, right? And so I don't have anywhere to go with the ball, but that's better. Like this right here, if I stood here and just took a sack, that's a 1 or 2 yard sack instead of that being a 15-yard sack, which is a drive killer. So really, I'm telling you, you have to improve your pocket presence again by taking the snap, by pressing A or X, and then flicking the left stick up like a baby tap so that your quarterback does this. Just cancels the drop back, and now you can step up in the pocket. Now, sometimes you get flushed in one direction. Sometimes you feel the pressure and you know you have to take off. But, really, it just comes down to taking the snap, canceling your drop back, and then going through your read progression so that you can not only maintain good pocket presence and actually hit receivers down the field, but you're not taking these horrible, just drive-killing sacks that will just prevent you from being able to move the ball down the field. So, that one's pretty simple right there, but it's really important, and you have to do it every single play. Every time you drop back to pass, you need to make sure that you're having good pocket presence, not drifting too far back. But also, what we're going to see right here is if we put the ball at the 1 yard line, this is really the best drill to get better with pocket presence, because you see you're just going to end up looking like Dan Orlovsky in 08 if you just drift too far back in the pocket. Again, cancel that drop back. You feel the pressure, right? And so I know the ball's in the end zone, so I can't take a safety. So this is just going to up your sense of urgency a little bit as far as not only canceling your drop back, but also getting rid of the ball on time and trying to find open receivers down the field. Again, throwing the ball away, throwing an incomplete pass, better than taking a safety and running out of the back of the end zone. So we see it again right here. I actually almost drifted out of the back of the end zone right there, but we're able to find our guy, maintain good pocket presence, and turn that into a dot. We look at the replay. I feel like I was really close to the back of the end zone. How close was they? I was kind of close, but you're just able to see good pocket presence right here, and we're able to kind of just, you see the blitz, and so you get rid of the ball, and so it's very easy. So again, bottom line with this, part of the pyramid, it's like, make sure you're having good pocket presence, canceling that drop back, finding your receivers open down the field, and not drifting too far in one direction. Alright, so if you found either of these first two levels helpful here in CFP 26 to improve your offense, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down college football 26 tips and tricks for you guys every single day. You don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full Oregon State offensive ebook, which is the full scheme, all of these tips are helpful, but you really need to pair it with an offensive scheme that has great money plays and one-play touchdowns. You can go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. It goes to the full write-ups, videos, screenshots, everything you're going to need to dominate an offense. And the best part is you can save it on your phone and always reference the plays during gameplay. It's really a no-brainer. Check it out today, and let's jump into the next part of the video. Which level 3 on offense is having a one-play touchdown to take the top off the defense. Let me show you one of my favorites right now from that Oregon State ebook. Alright, so the play here is going to be from gun bunch strong, nasty motion, bench double post. You're going to put your slot receiver on a streak. You're going to put your tight end here on a drag and block your running back. Because what you're going to notice right here is when they run a cover 3 defense, that's really where this is going to be the most effective, right? So we're just going to have them in this particular coverage shell right here, take the snap, and you're just, I mean, you're going to certainly need time to throw, but you see how that B receiver is breaking open down the field. So we go with it again right here, cover 3 defense, same route concept. That's why you also have your drag. Obviously, this is a YouTube video, so I'm going to try to show the one-play touchdown, but if you are getting shedded, you don't have time to throw. This is an example of exquisite pocket presence and why drop that. Wow. But that's why pocket presence is so important, because we look at the replay, you see how I feel the pressure over here on this left side with my tackle getting shedded, and so I have to move over to the left a little bit, and that gives me enough time to hit that pass. Now, quarterback throws a horrible pass down the field, guy drops an easy completion, but it's like if you just be consistent with this and you hit your checkdowns if you need to, you're just going to notice how this is going to be one of the easiest bombs in the game, because now I just pass-lead that ball all the way to the left. You want to probably wait until he passes that inside third to the left, right, if you have the ball on the left hash mark like I do here. But if you throw it earlier like this is also where freeform is really important too. You see how everything connects and builds on each other, because it's like if you don't have good pocket presence, you can't hit this pass down the field. If you don't have good freeform passing, this ball is going to be behind the receiver. He's not going to be able to catch it in his stride and score a touchdown. But really the bread and butter with this play is this corner route. He's the guy that makes it all happen. He pulls this outside third down and outside, and so it just leaves this huge gap right here down the field for an easy, like I said, pass lead, towards the sideline. Really, again, what makes this play super dangerous. So same route concept also works really well against cover 2. So, because what we know about cover 2 is a lot of people, they like to take this Davis defender who's normally in a mid-read and they want to user him. And so if they don't get all the way back there with their user defender, it's just going to be a huge problem. So again, right here, and honestly, it's even more open up the middle against cover 2. You probably just won't be able to score a touchdown unless you have the ball inside the 50-yard line, just because this deep half, he doesn't get pulled down. He just gets pulled outside, which, like I said, still opens up the middle of the field for an easy completion, but it's like, it's not just going to be just a touchdown, right? Because he's just going to come up and make this tackle, but still a huge gain nevertheless, and just an easy pass. But also against man coverage, this play is also really effective. So kind of like I talk about all the time with everything beaters, you have a play that can beat every defense in the game. So what we're going to see right here is if we put them in any defense, I guess we can just have them be in a man blitz, but same route concept, that's what I would call. But now against man, I'm looking for the corner. So boom, take it, and this corner route normally does a great job of getting great separation, and that's another example of freeform where that's such a tight window throw, and you need to get that ball out in front of the receiver so the defender doesn't have a chance to pick it off or knock the ball away. So this is a really great man-beating route. Takes a really great freeform sometimes to make the completion happen, but you're just able to see how, again, I'm calling this play. It's a great one-play touchdown, but I'm not really worried about what defense they're in. Right here, he absolutely cooks him, and so we just have that pass right there on the sideline for the easy completion. So really, bottom line with this play, a great one-play touchdown against cover 3, beats cover 2, beats cover 4, and also destroys man coverage with your corner out and your drag. One of the best plays in the game, and one you need to add to your scheme. Alright, and before I jump to those final 2 levels that you're absolutely not going to miss here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I break down college football 26 tips and tricks for you guys every single day. You don't want to miss out on any of the content I have, but let's jump into that next level, which is going to be having an overpowered run play. Staying balanced on offense is really effective to constantly scoring the ball. So let me show you the best overpowered run play right now. Alright, so if we come into gun trio, 4 wide receivers strong, and we call halfback direct snap here, alright? This is going to be our play. Now, this isn't the only halfback direct snap in the game. Don't get me wrong, there's many other good ones, but what we're going to see is if we take this snap, we're typically just going to be able to get downhill. Now, when you have a great running back like Hankerson right here that has the ability to speed boost, this is when this becomes really effective. Like right there, I mean, I did kind of boost right into a guy, but you're able to speed boost away from defenders. So right here, you also want to make sure you're having good run stick. Having good run stick, having good run vision, very important with these, because honestly, the cutback lane will be open pretty often, but you have to have good discernment to say, okay, am I going to take the cutback lane or am I not going to take it? Like right here, it's like they're kind of muddying up the middle, so maybe bouncing it out to the sideline a bit more. But really with this run, what makes it so effective is this right here, where you have the ability to speed boost, and if you can get to the second level of the defense, it's like it's going to be pretty challenging for them to make plays, and you can pretty much bank on the fact that you're going to pick up like 4 yards a carry with this on average. Not to say you won't ever get stopped in the backfield, but if you call this play like 3 or 4 times in a drive, right? I mean, that time I'd speed boost like 2 or 3 times. If you call this up and down the field, it's like you're just going to be able to pick up first downs on end as long as you have a good line. Having a back that can speed boost is going to make this really effective, because it's going to help you get to those spots a whole lot faster. Instead of having to just run there, you're going to be able to speed boost there. Something I've talked about many times in other videos here, but right there, that's an opportunity to speed boost, and we're able to turn that into a 15 yard gain down the field. So I mean, it's kind of simple, but it's like not having to pass the ball. You can kind of turn your brain off. That's going to make your offense so much better, because when the game's on the line, right, and it's late fourth quarter, 4-minute offense, you want to have a run play that you can just pull out of your bag that they haven't seen before necessarily, and they just don't know how to stop, because that's going to make it to where you can pick up 3, 4 first downs on end and rip off big gains just like this down the field. So really kind of a simple play, halfback direct snap, trio, 4 wide receivers strong, get the ball downhill, follow your gaps, pick your lanes, and then start speed boosting to get to the second level of the defense. Alright, and that 5th and final pro level of offense here in CFB 26 is actually identifying the blitz. Let me show you exactly how the best players are able to do that every single time. Alright, so I have them in a random play right here, so this isn't necessarily a blitz every time, but what I want you to pay attention to is these 2 flame icons. There's going to be one over the head of this defender, and there's one over the head of this defender, which tells me if these guys blitz, that's who the offensive line is going to let come in free, right? And so I understand that, and so if they come in free, I have to be ready to get rid of the ball. Now, luckily right here, it's like there was a flame icon over one guy who blitzed, but he didn't come in free, so they blocked him. So I would say, I don't know, 75% of the time those flame icons are true, but really you need to be recognizing, okay, if I snap this ball and those guys blitz, those are the guys that I need to be looking for to blitz, because if they do, they're supposed to come in free, so I need to know where my backup plans are. Right here, they both blitz, one of them comes in free, so I know that I have to get rid of the ball, right? And so versus like in previous years where you had to kind of read every defender to see who's blitzing, like obviously if a guy walks down, he's probably blitzing too, right? Well, actually, he might not be blitzing on this play, but it's like, you, instead of having to read every defender, now you can just read the guys that have the flame icons, because that's who the line is telling you, okay, if these guys blitz, we're letting them come in free. So I'm not even going to block anyone right here. Neither of them blitz, and so that means I just have a little bit more time to throw. This is going to help you not only identify the blitz, but stop taking really bad sacks, right? Because you have, before the play, every play really is going to tell you who could be blitzing. Right here, the guy with the flame icon didn't end up blitzing, and so, I mean, I have more time to throw. Obviously, still, you have to go through the other parts of this video, right? The other levels, they all work on each other, right? As far as getting guys open, but when you know when a blitz is coming, right? Okay, the guy blitzes, and so he ended up coming in free, the slot corner. So I knew that that's the guy that I was looking at, right? And so I saw he came, and so I knew, okay, I don't have all day to throw. I have to get rid of the ball in time, right? So we look at the replay. Boom, slot corner. I saw the flame icon over his head before the play. I saw right off the snap he ended up blitzing. So what do? Well, I just get rid of the ball before he can come in free. The line, I mean, they're blitzing 6 people, and so one guy comes in free off the edge. I know that, and so I know where my quick safety valve is, my outlet. So really, bottom line with this tip, it's like before every snap, read flame icons. If there's flame icons over any defenders, those are the guys that you need to be looking to see, okay, are they blitzing? And if they are blitzing, you need to know who you need to get rid of the ball to. So again, I know it's these two guys, neither of them blitz, so I'm expecting to have plenty of time to throw to get rid of my pass down the field. So reading flame icons is going to help you identify the blitz a whole lot better, and it's really the secret to identifying the blitz that a lot of pro players are really taking advantage of this year. Alright, so if you found any of those 5 levels of offense here in CFP 26 helpful, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. You're not going to miss out on any of the content I have for you every single day to transform your offense and defense here in college football 26. But what are tips without a full offensive scheme? You can go to the link down below in the pinned comment and grab my Oregon State offensive ebook for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. It goes through the full videos, write-ups, screenshots, everything you're going to need to dominate an offense from this Oregon State playbook. And again, the best part is you can save it on your phone during gameplay. But if you want to see 5 defensive tips to, again, complete both sides of the ball, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.